So, first of all, we're going to talk about the skeletal system.
Let's start with the major functions. The skeletal system has 6 major functions, including protecting the organs, facilitating movement, providing structure for the organism, storing calcium and phosphorus. Bone marrow produces white and red blood cells and minerals as well.
Yeah. Going on to the bones in the system, the first one that we have is the cranium, which the major purpose and function of the cranium is to protect the brain and sensory organs. It also supports the facial features. Next up, we have the clavicle, which has 3 main functions: to help attach the arms to the thorax, to protect the neurovascular structures that supply the arm, and to transmit force from the arm to the axial skeleton. Next, we have the humerus, which is an attachment site for many and ligaments, as well as connecting the scapula and clavicle to the radius and ulna to create both the shoulder and elbow joints. And then the scapula. The scapula, like the clavicle, connects the upper arm to the thorax, as well as being a site for attachment for 17 muscles. The sternum protects internal thoracic viscera, such as the heart, lungs, and the esophagus. The ribs form a protective cage around the organs in the thorax in order to protect the organs from damage. The ribs also help in breathing, expanding and contracting with the lungs. The vertebrae collectively act as the support column to brace the spine. The column helps support the other half of the body that the muscles don't. The ulna is attached to many muscles in the arm and forearm to perform the movements of the arm, wrist, and hand. The radius allows the hand to be flexible and rotate to allow the hand to pivot at the wrist.
The carpals, including 8 small bones between the metacarpals and the ulna and radius, is also known as the wrist and is responsible for rotation and flexibility of the wrist and hand. Cartilage allows for the bones to smoothly move against one another. Metacarpals stabilizes the palm and dorsal regions and connect at the wrist and fingers. Phalanges are made up of 14 bones and are responsible for the movement of the finger. The pelvis is located in the lower body and protects the delicate organs of the abdomen. The femur, also known as the thigh bone, is the longest and heaviest bone and is connected to the coxal through the ball and the socket hip joint. The patella, also known as the kneecap, is a freestanding bone that rests between the femur and the tibia. The kneecap plays a vital role in how the knee bends, in addition to most motions that require movement in the leg. The tibia is the larger and stronger of the 2 lower leg bones. It forms the knee joint with the femur and the ankle joint with the fibula and tarsus. The fibula, long, thin, and lateral bone of the lower leg. It runs parallel to the tibia or shin bone and plays a significant role in stabilizing the ankle and supporting the muscle of the lower leg. The tarsals, the bones of the ankle and foot, are located in the lower leg medial to the fibula. The last bone of the skeletal system are the metatarsals, and they are a group of 5 bones. They are located between the phalanges and tarsals of the foot and are responsible for movement of the toes.
There are 3 main joints in the human body: the hinge joint, the pivot joint, and the ball and socket joint. The hinge joint is one in which the joint can only move on one axis to either flex or extend. Examples of this within the body are the elbow, the ankle, and the knee. A pivot joint allows the joint to rotate around the axis. Examples are the C1 and C2 vertebrae in the neck that allow the back and forth movement of the head. The ball and socket joint give the greatest freedom of movement due to its structure: a bone with a spherical head and a bone with a cup-like socket. The only 2 examples of this in the human body are in the hip and the shoulder.
The skeletal system interacts with multiple systems throughout the body, including the muscular, circulatory, and respiratory system. The muscular system and skeletal system are interdependent. The muscles are connected to the skeleton and allow movement through contractions. For example, the bicep contracts to move the lower part of the arm. The circulatory system depends on the skeletal system for red and white blood cells and are created in the bone marrow. The respiratory system, on the other hand, relies on the skeletal system for structure. For example, the navel cavity is kept to 2 sides and held together by the ethmoid bone.
So 3 diseases that affect the skeletal system are osteoporosis, osteomalacia, and bone cancer. Osteoporosis is a disease which makes the bones more fragile and more prone to fractures and breaks. Osteomalacia is a disease in which there is a strong lack of vitamin D, calcium, and phosphate, soften and often lose their shape. Bone cancer is a cancer that occurs within the bone marrow and causes tumors to grow, which can cause bone deformation and breaks. A comparison to another organism is a shark, and the major differences between humans and sharks is that humans have a total of 206 bones and 32 teeth, 36 including the wisdom teeth, whereas the only bones in a shark are its teeth, having 50 in total, and the rest of the system contains only cartilage. Cartilage over bones gives the shark the advantage to have more mobility in water, and humans give it the advantage to walk upright and have more stability. Finally, we have fun facts. The smallest bone in the human body is called the stapes, and it's located in the ear. Over half the bones in the human body are either located in the hands or the feet, totaling to 106 bones. The only bone in the human body that doesn't have any joints is the hyoid, located in the neck. The world's first working prosthetic bone was made by the Egyptians about 3,000 years ago. That's all for the skeletal system.
Introducing the muscular system. So some of the major functions are 1. Providing movement through contractions, and this allows maneuverability at the joints. Next, it maintains the body's upright posture and holds the bones together in order to grant stability. Another one is that it offers the body heat generation, and this allows blood to flow through to the entire body. Next is that it provides protection to the body's inner organs, such as the heart and the lungs. All right. So next, we're going to talk about the skeletal muscle. So the skeletal muscle is the only muscle that requires voluntary control when performing physical action. This includes speaking, walking, or jumping. The skeletal muscle is found attached around the skeletal frame to allow movement, and it generates heat by allowing blood circulation throughout the entire body. The skeletal muscles contract to move parts of the body closer to the bone. For example, they shorten the length, pull on tendons, and move a bone closer to another stationary bone. Next is the smooth muscle. These muscles are involuntary muscles that are found in the walls of hollow organs, such as the stomach and intestines. They are involved in many of the maintenance functions of the body by helping hollow organs to contract. This allows substances to pass through the organs, such as the passage of food through the digestive system. Finally, the cardiac muscle only exists in the heart and operates non-stop, never getting exhausted. It works automatically and constantly by contracting to squeeze blood out of the heart and relaxes to fill the heart with blood. Next is a diagram of many of the major muscles in our body. Alright, pair movement. When one muscle of the pair contracts to bend a joint, the other relaxes. To straighten out the joint, the counterpart muscle contracts and pulls in the opposite direction. When the biceps muscle in your upper arm contracts, it pulls the lower arm in towards the shoulder and the triceps relax. To straighten out the arm, the triceps muscle contracts on this underside of the arm, thus allowing the biceps muscle to relax. Ligaments and tendons are a vascular, dense fibrous tissue. For ligaments, they connect bones to bones, forming a joint and providing stability for bone alignment. Their purpose is to prevent movement that might damage a joint while providing a limited range of motion. This means that they don't allow such things like the elbow to bend backwards. Now, tendons are cord-like bunches of dense fibrous tissue that connect muscle to bone. Because they are flexible, tendons can bend at joints and act as a cushion that absorbs shock, withstanding stress to the muscle. This connection enables tendons to pull on the bone when the muscle contracts, achieving traction and making the part move.
Next, I am going to talk about how the muscular system works with other systems. The muscular system works with the skeletal system. Most of the muscular systems exist for the exclusive purpose of interacting with the skeletal system. Muscles move bones in relationship to each other whenever you move your legs or arms. Smaller muscles move your jaws and fingers. Your bones and muscles also work together through a series of impulses and signals communicated between the brain and skeletal muscles. In order to move, the nervous system then sends signals to the muscle to contract. When the muscle contracts, this movement causes the attached bone to follow. The muscular system also works with the nervous system. Receptors in muscles provide the brain with information about body position and movement. The nerve and muscular system work together by performing their perceptive and sensory duties. Muscles protect the delicate network of nerves that run throughout the body. Meanwhile, nerves act like a train delivering and receiving messages from the brain. Also, the human body contains more than 650 muscles in your body that are all under control of the nervous system. Without the nervous system, the muscular system wouldn't be able to function correctly. Lastly, the muscular system also works with the digestive system. The muscular system interacts with the digestive system in several places. The muscles of the jaw masticate food, and then muscles along the esophagus to move food from the mouth to the stomach. Muscles along the intestines move digesting food along, and muscles along the intestines move digesting food along, and muscles control sphincters that isolate the sections of the digestive system. You can also compare the muscular system of a human to the muscular system of a giraffe. Similar to humans, giraffes are able to bend their knees backwards and not forward. Due to both possessing ligaments in their legs, the ligaments will now allow the forward motion to protect the part. The reason the giraffe's forelegs are longer than their hind legs is because of the heavy muscular development on the base of their neck or their shoulders. Most of their muscle is found in their neck, which is fairly flexible to aid in fetching water down low or plants up high. Similarly, humans can use their neck to eat and to observe their environment due to the flexible muscles within. Next, we have diseases that affect the muscular system. Muscle cramps. Cramps in muscles can occur suddenly and involuntarily in one or two muscles. It can happen late night or after exercising and can be caused due to a variety of reasons, lasting for seconds to minutes. Overusing a muscle or pinching nerve can cause a cramp. Next, cerebral palsy. Cerebral palsy is a very common disorder that affects the posture, balance, and motor function. Muscle tone is lost during pregnancy or during childbirth. Physical tasks become difficult because of this disorder. Lastly, sprains and strains. Twist or pull in the muscles or tendons, which can either be sudden or over a period of time, may cause sprains and strains. Back and hamstring muscles are commonly affected. This is one of the muscular system diseases that cause pain, swelling, and difficulty in movement. 4 fun facts about the muscular system. First fun fact is that muscles make up about 40% of your total body weight. Muscles are the most dense thing in your body. Also, muscles weigh more than fat. The second fun fact. It takes